than I usually get on, but as always, these are my thoughts, commentary, opinions only. I trigger warning. I have just very few subjects to talk about, but you never know where they might lead. Um, of course, everybody's welcome here, no matter what. I just know a lot of my opinions probably turn a lot of people off, but I felt bad. I felt a little run down yesterday and today, and I didn't get on. I really wanted to, but I had no energy. And then for some reason I like got my second wind tonight after making sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, and the marshmallows for the sweet potatoes. I made those yesterday actually, but I wanted to make the stuffing today, but I didn't. So I'm definitely gonna have, and I'm not doing, I got a ham that like came with a glaze, so the protein is gonna be super easy. I haven't made a turkey in a few years. I'm over the turkey. And speaking of which, one thing I thought that would be fun to maybe have a discussion about was the Campbell's soup. If you guys didn't hear, somebody is complaining about other things in regards, "Hey, Mr. Carey," to I can't, it's such a hassle too. It's just like it's so big. If we got one for free, like when my husband worked for Walmart, I'd absolutely make it, but like we just don't buy them. And the ham was $20, but for a ham that size, the cheapest ham, like without a glaze, was 14. So I was like, whatever, I'll pay five more to you know, have a blessed holiday, more blessed and beautiful, more with every healing breath, my strong and resourceful friends. Keith, that's nice. You too, Keith. Thank you, Mr. Carey. Did you guys hear about how the CEO of Campbell's, like Campbell's Soup, got caught? Like, there's an audio recording of him that leaked. The employee that is I don't know, suing the company or what have you. Like he is complaining about unfair treatment and stuff, but this recording has the Campbell's Soup CEO talking about how Campbell's Soup is, oh, Mr. Carey, you should listen to it. He's ranting about how it's just for poor people, which I thought was funny because we haven't been able to afford Campbell's in years. I guess we're so poor because like I consider Campbell's any name brand like that like more for our budget usually in the last few years especially I know a lot of people can relate to that. So that came off as like out of touch, of course, like I'm sure, but he was going off about how, hi Elle, how are you, Elle Marlessa? Thank you. I cut it a little bit more. I'm not super happy with, I think it'll look better when I need to work on it some more. It took me like 2 hours to put this little bit of layers in it, but thank you. I definitely took some dead ends off. Hey Fendi, how are you? Did you hear the Campbell's Soup CEO recording, Fendi? For poor people, that is like Tommy Hilfiger for rich folks, right, Mr. Carey? He's like, it's just for, I don't buy that ever since I found out what's in it. And he says it has 3D printed chicken in it. And okay, the few times I have consumed Campbell's, I was severely disappointed. Like, I don't know if Progresso is under Campbell's umbrella, but like we used to buy Progresso more. I remember years and years ago, and then it changed. Like, uh, anyways, um, you made a voodoo doll that looks like me. That's funny, Vendova. From what I've heard about voodoo, as long as I don't believe in it, it doesn't matter. But yeah, you should look it up, Mr. Carey. And he basically says it's crap. And yeah, that thing about poor people. I said, Fendi, we haven't been able to afford Campbell's. Or it's the kind of thing that's like, I know it's full of crap. So if I'm gonna get crappy soup, I'm gonna get the cheapest crappy soup. You know what I mean? Like, the only kind of soup I would get if we were rich would be that Amy's brand. And a lot of that isn't that great, but I love some of Amy's soups. But anyways, it is interesting, and I'm sure you could say the same about so many companies, right? So Campbell's alphabet soup with 3D letters. Um, so yeah, I don't have that much to say about that, but it's like it's not very surprising. Oh yeah, the quality of it is like so subpar. It's like I thought they take the scraps from the chicken, They like whatever they couldn't use in other products, it's like the tiniest, weirdest little bits. I'm doing well, CR. How are you? I'm from Kentucky and I talk about Kentucky sometimes, but mostly all sorts of just like social commentary issues. Do you have any live oysters? Okay. Um, Joe, I didn't see another comment from you. You said that's all I have to say about that, but I didn't see anything else. Now I'm curious. Nah, I'm sorry. So, did you guys see? You guys probably don't see everything that goes viral that I see on a lot of the shit I follow that's like, leans toward the feminist stuff. There's this guy that went semi-viral or whatever on TikTok because he was walking on a trail and his video was just him saying, if you girls, single girls, if you see a man walking on a trail and he says hi to you, say hi back. Come on. And it's so great. The responses he got. And one thing that makes me happy about stuff like that is like, I know the females get it, but there's tons of men out there that get it. And I feel like men like him, they wouldn't listen to a bunch of women being like, you don't know what it's like to walk around in fear for your life. And like he kind of mocked the way she like did this look, and people were like, you don't understand what it's like to see a man be alone and to just like, um, think of all the possibilities, get your hand on your pocket knife or whatever. And my best advice, and I only saw one lady say this, um, if I've always found, and yeah, I've said I've had some incidents, so I'm not saying this is like completely foolproof. Although, honestly, yeah, it was often, they were all catching me off guard. I wasn't making eye contact. As a woman, it might seem unintuitive. For some reason, it's like instinctual for me. Make eye contact with, they look for people who are, like, not confident enough to do that, and, in my opinion, that's some of the best advice you can is, like, make sure that they know you have your eyes on them. There was one guy that creeped up on us in the Highlands when I was walking around with my 8-year-old, and, at first, I really didn't understand what he said, and so I said, "What?" And I looked at him, and he, like, repeated what he said, and I was just like, "Okay, hi." And then I stopped, like, a lot of people would have, like, walked and walked and walked. I stopped because he had his bike walking with it, and I was like, if he keeps following me, I'm going into the shop," where I saw people through the window, and, like, I swear, he, like, saw me just in there staring at him, and then he turned down an alley. Like, okay, I still looked back for a long time, but, like, that has been as a small petite woman, that has saved me, and as a, relative of a cop, they always told us, "If somebody does grab you, act crazy. If somebody creeps up on you and acts like they're gonna grab you, act fucking crazy. Get as insane as you possibly can. Flail and kick, because like, once they get you in a vehicle, especially, like, you're probably not gonna survive." So, that's my biggest advice is like a lot of women, they like cower. I would have said hi back personally. I would have looked him right in the eye and been like, "Hey," he probably wouldn't have been talking to me because I'm, a middle-aged woman who has hit the wall. Because it was interesting. He said, "Girl, single girl." I venture to say if that was an 80-year-old woman that didn't say hi back, he wouldn't have taken it that way. And that's something I've tried really hard with my teenage sons. I was just having a conversation with one of them and a friend tonight about like rejection, and handling rejection well is like something that the sooner you learn it, the better. And this man wasn't unattractive. When you peruse through his TikTok profile, he is so full of himself, the kind of man I would stay I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole because it's all like thirst trap images. He's obviously in the gym constantly, and that's fine if you like to be healthy and work out. I'm not knocking that, but um if I was single looking for a man, I wouldn't get with somebody that worked out constantly and then took pictures of himself. It's one thing to like have a workout regimen, but to be like making TikToks with your muscles. I'm doing good, Mang. How are you? I'm from Kentucky. Why would you wander in the woods if you are that scared of life? Julian, because okay, so Julian, if you're still here, I hope you are. First of all, it's nice to be in a solitary environment where you think you're going to be solitary. It's especially as a young woman, I don't get hit on the way that I used to when I was younger. I'm not just saying, I think men were different back then. Honestly, 20 years ago, I think, and I'm not just saying this because I'm older. I really know that they don't hit on me because I'm older. But like I think altogether men would approach a woman more likely 20 years ago, because the online dating and everything. So sometimes you just want to be by yourself, So you go off in nature where you're going to be by yourself. And I'm sure okay, I shouldn't. I would venture to say she had a way to protect herself, right? Because you can't be scared of living your life, but yeah, you're going to be scared every time you encounter a man you don't know. We all have stories, and that's what I wish these conversations would lead to more. And so, like I said, there was plenty of men that got it and said things like this. Instead of being like, and no offense, Julian, but instead of being like, oh, you pathetic, men commit 97% of violent attacks against women are men. 91% of all violent crimes are men. And it's like, um, when you are automatically weaker most of the time than those male bodies, you will find yourself to be, yeah, much more cautious of it, especially like, let's be real, if you're the one that's more likely to, yeah, salsa monkey. And uh, I don't think I'd be confident enough to like carry, honestly. I would wait until I'm super confident because the statistics of getting overpowered when you're somebody like me that's not that confident. So that would be a really jackass thing to do, would be for me to walk around. And we have open carry here. If I really wanted to, I could walk around with a rifle in Louisville, but like, what, you wouldn't? I thought girls like that stuff, buff muscles. Fendi, no, honestly. Okay, if somebody was in shape, that's fine. I'm talking about somebody that's like a gym rat, that's obsessed with himself, that's obsessed with his looks. No, no, that's I've said this before. Hey, Aaron Harrington, I remember you. How are you doing, Aaron? If you're still in here, what is sexism? Everybody has their preferences. J-Man, I believe it was in America. He sounded American. Um, and I don't know exactly what state he was in. It looked like somewhere where there's cooler weather. But yeah, uh, he deleted his video. I think he got the point, even if he's not gonna like completely understand it from an empathetic point of view. Because I don't understand how you could be okay, maybe some of you can explain it to me. Do you understand what it's like to be the gender that is not committing 90% of violent crimes and having to go and share the world with that gender is, um, mm, there's all the fear responses. What is it? Fight, flight, fear, fawn. There's, there's some other ones sometimes like flop or whatever. But if you have had things impact you in your nervous system, like this is what has changed the least since we've been human, as far as all the things we've advanced. Our limbic system has changed, evolved the least. So, like as a woman, I believe that we still have it ingrained in us. I think that there is such thing as generational insults and trauma that can live through like DNA, and so that's the reason why the world goes to the end of the cycle and implodes, because like it has to renew upon itself, because like everything is just so bad. I've been laying down in bed all day watching romance movies all today. The holidays make me emotional. Oh, Diamond, do you mean emotional in a sentimental way or like emotionally like sad? Because it's a little hard for me because I always miss my grandmas and my big family, and nobody really gets together anymore, my family. Um, Lucky, I think I remember you. Why does any of this come off as me not liking men? Me talking about a guy making what I didn't even say anything that negative about it, did I? A pretty ignorant observation on why a woman doesn't say hi to him every single time. And like it's like something that seems like people need to learn. And I do understand if you're like holding the door open for somebody and they completely don't acknowledge you, that's the kind of thing that used to get to me more too. So like I do understand it, but it's like this kind of, there's something behind it that insinuates like we owe you the high. Like nobody owes any man anything, and like if every like most men, I think, do get that. They're not out there being a show pony on TikTok trying to show off their big muscles and say stuff that they think, he had like green eyes and dark hair. And um I think he's might be used to the women saying hi back to him, and that's one reason why he was, like, more taken aback or whatever, but I'm sorry, men need to put themselves in women's shoes more often, and, if you can be, what, 25-ish, I would guess, 25, 27 maybe, and still not understand why a woman doesn't say hi back to you, that's like the kind of entitlement you grew up with, you experienced for decades. I couldn't imagine feeling entitled to like somebody saying hi back to me because they're obviously somebody he probably would have asked on a date. But like I said, you can't have guns in the UK, Popeye. Yeah, I understand that on an island, but I don't think we're ever gonna not have them here. But I hope that you're okay with that. Also, don't forget anyone in the areas where it would drop temperatures under 20 degrees, let your water drip. Thank you, Mr. Carey. You do 90% of the time. Are you saying you say hi back, Jordan? Um, Praiser Praise says, I'm talking shit. Um, they cut SNAP off. How many meals you donating? Well, Nails, I have been donating lately. I've lived for 38 years and can say there's both good and bad men. Yes, I need my hat. I completely agree. And the cool thing about TikTok that these conversations can be had, and like this man might have never had this conversation in his group of friends. They would have just been like, oh, because that's one thing. If y'all were really the natural born leaders that you think you say you all are by default from having a penis, then I think that you would like check your own peers more, and not just peers, like men of all ages. Be like, that was pretty fucked up, And if that happened more men would be better because half or more of them are so misogynistic. They're never going to listen to a woman, but they are homosocial, meaning they depend and rely off the friendship, the care, the opinion of the men in their lives so much. But like a woman could say the exact same things and they're not going to listen to it because they don't think she's smart. That kind of man wouldn't be sitting here like watching me for any length of time. Like they would just like not want to have anything to do with any woman. So I'm not talking about any of you guys, of course. I'm getting ready to talk shit about a woman. You guys want to hear all about that? Get a taser or bear spray, J Man said. Yes, okay, so tasers, it just seems like they're not like as reliable as unless you get the one that's like you put it right up against their skin. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but yeah, I have mace and is that what it's called? Pepper spray. Um and I would like to get more familiar with, firearms. It's just something that, like, I barely ever have my kid is, like, attached to my hip all day until bedtime, so I don't even know when but I could make time, like, once a week. But there's this other viral story, I mean, this is way more viral. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was so far back in the comments. Fendi said, "No, that's sassy. Men built the world." Oh, here we go. Women literally give birth to every single person that's ever built anything. So it's kind of like the chicken or the egg. If you want to like start that, and men are also destroying the planet. It's men and the choices of greedy men that are like why there's such bad die-offs in the ocean. And um Drago says, "You want resources, we want you." Yeah, in some situations, that's how it works, but less so now that women don't need men for resources as much. So that's why it is more crucial to like evolve with us. I don't think there's going to be a lot of going back. Like some people seem to like to when women were more submissive because they had to be, because they had nowhere else to go, because you couldn't call the cops and say, "My husband just hit me," and have them show up and take him away, is like all that was normal. They don't say hi back because ignorance. Well, Albert, I think a lot of women really are sincerely fearful. And if men could understand that, hey, Pyramid, how are you doing? Thank you, as the mom. Everything you have in this world was made by men, maintained by men, and we do it for the ones we love, something you clearly don't understand. Albert, clearly you don't understand what it's like to be a mother and birth children. We do homemaking. The reason why I haven't gotten on here until 10:30 at night, I have hamper full of laundry next to me. It's constant work and might not be as backbreaking as building a bridge, but it's constant. There's no time off and you don't get compensated for it. And most people look at you like you're lazy. But if you outsourced all of that work, if you outsource the childcare, the cleaning, the laundry, the cooking, oh my gosh, how much money would that cost somebody? How much money does it cost the wealthy people that can't afford all of that? That's where I'm coming from. Like people see how this regulars of my life see how this happens. I can't even bring up a man on a trail without men coming in and saying men built the world. Something is going on with you guys. It's not me, it's you. It's in your heads and it's making you walk around because you feel, I'm sorry, you must feel I'm sorry, I'm blanking. You must feel less than to be walking around constantly like, I'm sorry, like King Kong, we built the world. Did you build anything though? Do you build anything? What was the last thing you built? I'm just curious because I've built three human bodies, sustained them, home educated them. Two of them are amazing human beings. The third one, I say that because he's a lot younger and he is very autistic. He's still amazing. I still do very well with him by all the expert standards. He wouldn't be doing as well as he was if I wasn't his mom. It is constant. Try dealing with a kid with severe autism on top of taking care of a house and keeping it clean and tidy. Like, no, not all stay at home moms do that, but it is absolute constant work. Cooking and cleaning. Um, there's a mom that started homeschooling that I know, and she was texting me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, it's just like I never get everything done. It's just like cooking and cleaning is like the kitchen is half of my day." And then I feel, and I was like, "Yeah." And when you lay down, you feel like you never got everything done you want to get done, and you never will. Like that. And you guys seriously think it's all like just like sitting around? Because when you're at home, that's what you do. And if you cooked three meals from scratch, even one or two on a regular basis, you wouldn't be taught. Just that alone is a part-time job. Like cooking good food, going to the grocery store, coming home from the grocery store, cleaning the fridge out. Like all these things are things you take for granted. Or if you do them, I don't think you're walking around talking like that, honestly, because it's like, men build things, they get respect for it, they get compensation. I build things too. I built car parts, auto manufacturing plant, and honestly, it was easier than being a stay-at-home mom. It was easier because I got to go to sleep, sleep until I wanted to wake up, and then I got to get up and do whatever I wanted because I had to be at work in a few hours. And all my time, my free time was for me. You don't have that as a stay-at-home mom, or you're losing sleep. And I know everybody's situation is different, and I'm really generalizing it. But see, I want to talk about the Danish deception, bitch, and then like y'all are bringing up how men built the world again. It's like you feel something's going on with men, and they see women moving forward. And I don't like saying this because I have 3 sons, and it's like, and instead of, like, trying to move forward with us, a lot of you guys are like, "Wait, stop, we built stuff." Like, like I said, the Clark Memorial Bridge that connects Louisville, one of the bridges that connects Louisville to Indiana, that thing has been nothing but trouble. There was another bridge built in Columbus, Indiana, suspension bridge, this big, red, modern-looking thing that was made when I was a kid. Oh, it's like a wonder of the world, or it was, or something, or it's like some architectural wonder. That thing, they can't get that right. Some big suspension bridge. Can't, haven't they been building suspension the bridges for how long now? And like, it's just funny to me when, have you guys seen new construction builds, new construction homes? And I'm sure there's people building good homes around here, but have you seen some of these homes? They're slapping 400, $500,000 price tags on, that like, oh my God, I'm never going to catch up with these comments. You be talking so real, Lucky. That's why I like you for you. Jory, thank you, Jory. I like you for you too. I love your food reviews. Autism is a fairly new thing you hear over the years. Where did it come from? The food inoculations, etc. Mr. Bill, it's not though. Okay, so I just saw the shorts where it was like talking about 1967, or I'm sorry, it might have been in the 70s. Geraldo Rivera busted it open. There was like this school for nonverbal kids in the 70s, and they were giving them fecal matter. Look it up. Geraldo Rivera went undercover and like showed how bad the circumstances were. And like I do believe that it is on the rise, honestly. Dr. Bernard Rimland, the father of autism, the first person to say this isn't just cold refrigerator parenting. This is something these kids are born with it. He also said at a certain point, because his son was, he knew it wasn't his wife's fault. That there's classic born with it autism and there's environmental, and that is regressive. The father of autism said there is absolutely environmental regressive autism. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but really, what is autism but a group, group of symptoms thrown together? It can be like a catch-all term. I think that's what's going on with my son. So I really don't mean to offend anybody, but like, like, what is it really? There's no blood test for autism. What about when you have a kid diagnosed and you get all the genetic workup and it's not Rett syndrome or that X thing, or sometimes it's Angelman, that like often autistic kids get diagnosed with another genetic disorder that might, but like a lot of them don't. And a lot of them have A negative blood types. They know more about it than we do, I'm sure. But I have A negative, and I know plenty of, in my opinion, allegedly, moms that also have kids with A negative. And you can look it up. Like, I've actually found stuff just Googling it. We are allowed to complain just like any human can. Psychedelic soul jam. Nathan Hazelhurst. I have 3 hernias. I just beat cancer this year, getting a major surgery and having organs removed from my body. Have you ever had organs removed from your body? My life is not a cakewalk. Have you ever taken care of a severely autistic person, Nathan? Seriously, I like to hear your answer, because I guarantee you, you haven't, and if you were the caretaker of somebody like my son, you would probably end it, honestly. Your husband encouraged you to do this live stream stuff to get you off his back. No, my husband had to work till a half an hour ago, so I'm gonna leave him alone so he can decompress and get some sleep because he needs to, because it was a crazy day before Thanksgiving. God. Why? Okay, so that's always I'm sorry, the wifeless men always have to be like, "Oh, your husband this, your husband that." You all are turning into the women that you hate. That's like a feminine thing. Your husband, I'm going to take a dig where I know it will hurt her the worst. Y'all are turning into the women you don't like. The women that take no accountability, the women that act like children, that run their mouths and never seem to understand the bigger picture, and that the world doesn't revolve around them and their fifis. That's what you all are acting like. Seriously, all of you. All like, I can't even bring up this, "Hey, Jesus, how are you?" And if you haven't noticed, like 80% of my loyal viewers are men. So all the men that are like, "You hate men," it's kind of funny to me how some of you get it, but some of you never will. And like, number one, because you look at women as a tool. So like, you wouldn't really listen to an object and listen to their point of view at all. And I appreciate all, even the laughing faces. You're literally that you're why I have 64 people in here at once right now. Beast mode. You are a tool. Yeah, I'm sure you are the real tool. Praiser praise. My ex-wife sucks now. She's blaming me for everything like she didn't do anything. Omega, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, I'm not I've said it a billion times before. I know women can be awful. I think social media has destroyed women in a lot of ways. And us being taken, I say this with hesitation, us being taken farther away from full-time motherhood is not good for a lot of us, and it's not our fault. We didn't invent this late stage capitalism. We didn't ask to be born into a world where most of us need 2 incomes. And if you don't, it's usually because you're like really blessed. But a lot of people don't have that kind of help, or they didn't start off 18 years ago like we did. Women that run their mouth, the hypocrisy and irony coming out of their mouth. Walkie talkie, if you had anything real to say of substance, I'd appreciate it. But see, like, it's not even a straw man argument. It's like literally nothing. It's like you guys have nothing to say to anything that I say. What about the when men are married, they live long, and when women are married, they live less long. Women are more likely to not get remarried when their husband dies. They're happier. I'm sorry. We have to put up with so much of your shit our whole lives. Like, just in general, like the shit that men do. Like, yeah, women can be shitty too. What, we like don't say hi back? Um, Men, they act like, so take everything personal, and I think that women, we get used to more adversity. You think that our lives are easy and it's a cakewalk to bleed every single month, to have the organs that literally bleed every single month, to have to worry about getting pregnant every time you have sex, unless you can't get pregnant. And then, or if you want to get pregnant, to be like obsessing over that. Like, am I pregnant yet? Am I pregnant yet? Am I pregnant yet? You have no idea because you never put yourself in somebody's shoes. You clearly probably never lived a life like pleased with a woman in the kind of way that would make you actually be able to empathize. Some crazy talk in the chats tonight. Y'all please be respectful. Yeah, well, thank you, Diamond. They are helping. Tell your husband about how you degrade men. How am I degrading men right now? See, you're turning into the women that you think like all women are, that are like man-hating feminists that blame everything bad to ever happen on men. Most women don't do that because we know better, and we know that it's like a few elite people at the top, and we're all human beings. We're all on the same team, really. We all go through the same shit. And the reason why there is a male loneliness epidemic is evident in this chat tonight. And I know I'm not trying to get a date. I know I'm middle aged. I know I hit the wall a while ago. I do think that I'm getting less white hair now that I'm taking more supplements. I just got in here by error, now leaving quick because there is too much senseless blah blah going on. Okay. Thanks for leaving a comment first so other people will come across it more so. You are all over the map. It's hard to make sense of it all. Well, Nathan, I'm sorry you're too slow to catch up. I should apologize for what? See what I mean? Now they want me to apologize because your ego is so hurt because of a random stranger out of the billions of people on this planet. You happen to come across a random stranger for some reason. You're looking for them on YouTube Live. And I'm glad that some of you do that because I know that's how some of you found me. I just like don't understand going through random YouTube lives of people you don't know unless you are genuinely looking for something and you're going to be nice or just leave because it's not your cup of tea because not everything is going to be, or you're just looking to be a little shithead. I learned that I get people come in my chat say the most crazy stuff. I just let them do it because it's engagement, right, Jory? That's why we don't block easily either. Beast mode, don't have sex. Well, I don't have a uterus anymore, so I'm not in that boat. But yeah, you're right. And that's what I say about men that complain about child support and about how they should be able to get the baby aborted because no, you don't have to put your dick in her in the first place. How about that? How about you be careful where you put your seed in the first place? Don't even put it anywhere near a woman you wouldn't be okay with having that tie for the rest of your life with. What about that? You are the ones that really are the gatekeepers of life if you took full accountability. But then, of course, because women can get abortions, which isn't as easy as it used to be in a lot of states now, too, you look at us as the gatekeepers of life, which, like, once again, what is a man's fault? Because you say women take no accountability. Meanwhile, in the last like 5 years, all I've seen is men run from accountability. Um, praise. Um, What see, okay, I can't respond to comments that, like, literally say nothing. "Stay blessed, I'm a woman, I'm proud of you, stick up for yourself." Oh, thank you, TK. Yeah, I say what I say because I know after being a stay-at-home mom for a lot of the last 18 years, not all of it, there aren't a lot of women out there saying the stuff I do say, and, it's not really necessarily for incels. It's not incels, okay? It's for people that are on the same path as me. You all just are like so all over the place, have nowhere else to go. And like the energy, it's just like if you really worked on yourself, whatever your talents and strengths are, and getting healthy, hobbies that made you feel fulfilled and happy instead of literally eating either jerking off to women you find attractive or like hating on and shitting on women. Okay, so did you guys see the video where the guy's telling his wife how you don't marry the hottest woman you've ever been with? Did you guys see that? Because one of my favorite creators, she made the greatest response to this guy that was like, and his wife posted the video. Once again, I don't know, is that a humiliation ritual or what? But I would have never posted this video of my husband basically telling me I'm not the hottest woman he's ever been with and like kind of like negging her for it, you know? Um, I'm disgusting and toxic. You criticize others and are actually talking about yourself. Well, no, Terry Abraham, I have 3 kids, all with the same man. I'm not talking about myself. I'm not on here complaining about child support and stuff. Hey, Homer dude, how are you? So this Ukrainian woman replied to it, and she said in Ukraine, w- what's the language? Ukrainian. They have a saying that's called "I'm go- I'm gonna shit in your soul." So she's like, ladies, if a guy ever tries to be like, oh yeah, it's like that hot crazy matrix. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. I'm sure all you incels know the hot crazy matrix I'm talking about, right? And then the cute rich one for girls, which like, yeah, I admit it was pretty fucking funny. But he's literally like telling his wife, like, basically, I'm not as attracted to you as other people I've put my dick in. And so the Ukrainian woman was like, turn it around on him, be like, "Oh yeah, us women do that too. Yeah, we don't get with the biggest, like best we've ever been with. That would be too much. That would be too stimulating. That would be too much to have in your life all the time. You know, we get with like a I don't wanna say everything else she said, but it was so great. And she's like, and remind them, be like, "Oh, yeah, I remember when you met me. We were in that room full of Victoria's Secret supermodels and actresses that all just were clamoring to be with you, right? But you picked me, little old mid me." I thought that that was really funny. Men are scared to admit they love women. It's sad. Psychedelic soul jam. They're yes, they're scared to admit that they need a woman so badly, and that's why they're so like torn up about not having one in their life as easily. That's part of it with some of them, at least. So there was this other story that was viral. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. How are you today? Hope you have a good turkey day tomorrow. Yeah, I felt kind of run down yesterday and half the day today, but I feel better now. I made my mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, green bean casserole, and I wanted to make my stuffing and baked pears tonight, but I didn't. Not all men are bleh. The ones who are bitter, like my uncle who lives in my basement, off and on and cries about feminism. Yeah, no, they're not all like that. My husband's not like that. Oh, that's just sad. And then it's like, if I had a strong, able man body, I would just be like making as much money as I could my whole life. And I know not everybody is able-bodied. I'm just saying, it's like a woman that's like always looked down on. Oh, you have a cakewalk. Honestly, I look at you men with strong, able man bodies as your life is the cakewalk. You didn't bleed once a month for decades of your life. You didn't start bleeding 10 years old, have to deal with bleeding for weeks at a time, starting at 10 weeks old in the 5th grade. And I know some of you do have a thing like inguinal hernias, 27% of men will get an inguinal hernia in their lifetime. You guys have to be so careful when you're lifting things. Please, I have 2 inguinal hernias. You do not want to live like that. And when I saw that 27% of men develop one in their lifetime, I was floored. Um, So I want to talk about this lady. It's just all that in once again, when I say incel, I always cringe a little because I know that everybody that's alone doesn't it's not all because of them. Some people really do need major self-improvement, but some people really it's not to any fault of their own. It's just life circumstances and for whatever a lot of different reasons. Like I said, I'm an autism mom, you know. If you want a partner and you don't have one, I don't mean you. If I'm saying incel, I mean the people that like come in and like just shit on like the strong stoic man that most women are attracted to, it's literally 180 polar opposite of that. The kind of man that comes into random chats and tries to nag women. Or, you know, you're like, well, maybe you're like 12. Because I could see myself doing some shit like that, you know, when I was like super juvenile. He never once bought milk or sugar, nothing. He uses everything, though takes my cigs like he's almost 60. Oh, psychedelic soul jam. That sounds awful. You're just turned 30. Oh, that's nice. You're still so young. what's the deal with this divisiveness? We are all on the same side. That's what I said, Adam. That's what I said. I just bring up what I thought was funny. And one of the first points I made about this story of this man walking in the woods that made a TikTok was that I thought it was great how many men checked him. That's literally like one of the first things I said. And then we had to get the men built the world. It's just like where is that coming? Why do you feel the need to go tell any woman that you can, any woman who will listen, that men did stuff? Like I don't. This women are walking away from motherhood because like most of you don't give us the credit for like what we do when it comes to what we're built to do. Once again, not all women. I don't think all women are supposed to have babies. I don't mean it like that at all. It's just the fact is most women do. And even if your body, even if you never birth a baby, like the things women have to go through by, having the hormones and the body that is built to have the babies. I think that's something that gets like really overlooked by a lot of men. And I know you guys do have health issues, but women have more autoimmune issues and suffer from a lot of stuff. But our estrogen is also a neuroprotectant, and that's one reason why women, once they lose their estrogen, are more likely to develop dementia. And that's another reason why HRT is such a good thing. And like even as children, we're diagnosed with less stuff like autism, and they think it's because of that. But then it's like we suffer physically with a lot more. It's like it all evens itself out. Yeah, Homer, dude. I said this guy was walking down a trail and said, girls, single girls, if you ever see a guy and he says hi on a trail, just say hi back. Come on. And it's like, I guess there's a lot of those guys like in the chat that have that same attitude that's like, a woman literally can't not pat their ass, anything but an ass pat. And she is like evil, full of the Jezebel spirit, whatever. And but then when it comes to men, I'm sure you all have been around men that did some evil, sick, twisted shit, and you just sat there and laughed at it or something. Because once again, like men don't check other men. And if they did, okay, a lot of the times they don't. Sometimes you do. And that's what is so great about what I brought up was all um the people telling him, "Look, nobody owes you anything." And of course, you wouldn't say it was like a couple or a man or an old lady. Not that there's anything wrong with being old, but that's a situation where you just need money of that old man. I don't get the comment. Sorry, the Leo. I'm not with a 60-year-old. What the fuck? He's my uncle. He lived in my basement. I pay rent with my mom and shit and housing. You don't know me. You don't say with a 60-year-old. We are also bitter. Wow. Paul, who said that psychedelic? If you can't tell if they are 12 or 22 or 40 or 75, it's pathetic. I agree, psychedelic. Um, See, okay, that happens a lot too. Like it's like women literally, you're turning into the women, like what you consider to be bad, feminine, gossipy, nitpicky, nagging energy. I'm playing into that stereotype. Men and women all have feminine and masculine energies, and I think that the best overview of it is like masculine is giving, feminine is receiving, and a lot of things that women do are kind of masculine in nature. Like think about being a mom, being a protective mother, being the mama bear. Is that a woman being in her feminine? No, you want a woman that can like protect your kids when you have kids with her, right? And like I don't, you guys, I just, it's crazy to me how my whole first half of my life, or like first 30 years of my life, was like the running theme of all of society was like men don't want to settle down, men don't want to have babies, men, you have to like back him into a corner to do that. Now it's like literally it's weird how it's turning around. And I know that's just polls, but they're like men want to have kids more than women. Yeah, because it must be easy to have the kids when you're basically like a grandparent. Not all dads, but a lot of dads. It's like when I become a grandma, I'm going to know what it's like to be like most dads. You just basically get to see them and play with them here and there and have fun and hand them off to mom when they need a diaper change or they need to be fed or they need something, especially when you work a really hard job. You shouldn't have to do as much. If you both work like the same hours, it should be more 50-50, and it's usually not. And women are like fine with walking away. There's no female loneliness epidemic. They're getting more college degrees, buying more houses, and like you can seriously see how it's playing out, like literally in YouTube chats. Fortunately, I found a good woman and still going 14 years later. That's so nice, Homer, dude. There are good people, and Ian said my kid is autistic, but I am chill. There's definitely good couples, and I think a lot of people don't know them or like they're just not out there like making content, talking about it, you know? And it's like the people with the biggest mouths are like you just hardly ever see anybody that's like, "I've been married for 40 years and let me tell you all about marriage." Because 'cause we'll all say the same thing, like, "It's hard." Communication. Communicate, you know? Be nice. Men can go outside by themselves without being scared. Laugh out loud. You do got it a lot better, Lucky. Pink marshmallow. Are you talking to that Lucky Luck person? Or men don't have it as good as people think. It's just okay. I think okay. We're all humans and we do all go through shit. But when a man says that your life is a piece of cake, I immediately am gonna say it and think all the things that I do, you know. But if I like me meeting a man, I don't automatically assume anything like that. But like the things that go through my head when a man tells me my life is a piece of cake is like I've been suffering from autoimmune dysfunction and horrible heavy periods since I was 10 years old. Like, seriously, imagine dealing with tons of blood and blood clots in your underwear when you're in the fifth grade, sixth grade. Like, you really think that like women's life is easier just because it's easier for us to get laid without thinking about how all the horrible stuff that comes with that, all the STIs and STDs we're more prone to, and basically you guys are supposed to get the HPV or okay, I shouldn't get into that, but you're just like the carriers of a lot of stuff. That's not to say you can't get it, but women tend to be affected more and it's not easier just because you can get a date. Tommy said I only say hi if a woman wants to. Well, Tootie, thanks for commenting. I got myself kicked off a mining job for a week for talking some shit to older fella for running his mouth about another man. I called him the pussy. He was being rude and dude told on me. Oh my gosh, that sucks, Joe. Um, but so you were just like suspended for a week. See, I'm sorry. Like that is, yeah, I know that's me being sexist, me saying like, yeah, he was being a pussy. If the man, you should be able to just like suck it up and take it, shouldn't you? And isn't that what they're saying women are ruining the workplace over is like HR and our complaints and like going to the higher ups and saying that person said something I don't like. See, men do it too. Don't even get me started on that Helen Andrews woman. Oh my gosh, I could talk about her all night. Somebody show me verifiable proof that women have done anything negative to the workplace. Because actually, it's only gotten better and more productive since the late 70s. And that woman said nothing. If anybody actually read the whole the transcription of the podcast that they called it article, like I did, they would, she literally said nothing. It was like, just a one big gossip session and her being like, "Guys in tech told me this is what happens." I don't know for sure. That's what the guy said. Once again, is this not what you think women are so horrible for? And gossip isn't always a bad thing either. It's not always a bad thing to be like if it's done with proper intentions. If you're not just like talking shit about somebody to be a bitch, but like if you're like spreading useful information from one person to another, it's not always a bad thing. And it's one way that makes us more emotionally intelligent faster. We are able to do that better somewhat. We cultivate relationships better. Not all women, most women and not all men are crappy at maintaining their friendships. Some of you guys are great at it, but it's like the usual married guy, like his wife facilitates all or most of the social stuff, right? I'm sorry if I am missing you guys in your comments. Am I blurry to anybody? I'm probably more like a Russian person. People say hi or anything. I don't say shit. I just look at them and keep walking. Fendi said. Well, yeah, you saying your ethnicity, that just makes sense to me. And I mean that in a stoic way. I want to meet a nice foreign woman, Shaw to the T. Yeah, it seems like a lot of guys do, and I don't blame you guys. Uh, I see, I think I've met the most friendly people in Kentucky, and that's one big reason I love it so much. I think people all together are getting rude. We have the ability to connect with each other more than ever, and we're like growing apart and have no community more than ever. It's crazy. And it's not right when, anybody is really rude, but I do understand. I'm fine, Cindy. How are you? It's not easy to make new friends or relationship these days, Peter McLaughlin said. Yes, I know. Homer, dear, good night. I hope you sleep well. Um, yeah, it seems like so when I say like the male loneliness epidemic, once again, like I know that it's a struggle, that dating is we're going through what nobody before us has ever been through as far as the landscape changing so much from meeting in person, meeting more at like work or school to then online dating. And that really is it's bad. It's to the detriment of people. Um I'm not foreign. I was born in Kentucky. I am a quarter Colombian. That's what makes me look a little bit of something. Anyway. They mean a submissive woman who can't speak the same language or starving bodies like prepubescent looking. I'm part Chinese. I know all about that sick stuff. Oh, you're part Chinese. That's so cool. Yes. So yeah, I have said that, but especially when it comes to Colombia, it was like they have the most single mothers of any country in South America in or Central America. Latin America, and they're really catching on to these guys. They're not all coming for wives, right? A lot of them it's sex tourism and they need to just call it that. But I think some of them genuinely do want a relationship, but most of them no. And it is like you don't just look oh, you blame me. Um but yeah, I understand the appeal of somebody that's, like, not from this country, but I also think it's kind of funny because if you feel that way, somebody else would probably feel it about you too. We're all, like, spoiled rotten, and we only think about ourselves. It's like the rest of the world doesn't exist to Americans, and, like, to the rest of the world, they look up to, like, America, and it's really crazy, and you don't know that, and now that our country isn't as great as it used to be, it's like we're all I think there has to be countries that are better. I don't think we're the greatest country at all. How about a good man? Who a solid person? Ben Hollenbeck. Well, there's plenty of good men out there. Okay, so there's this other viral story where this woman got duped by a Danish man, and it's really interesting because she's Nigerian. Well, she's American, but like one of those Americans whose parents are from there, so they're very into their culture, what have you. But, that was interesting to me because I, for one, am tired of seeing women give a ton of money to men, and I know some men do it too, but it is just insane how women that have tens of thousands of dollars will give, like, $100,000 to I'm sorry, I don't understand. I wouldn't do that unless it was, like, my husband that needed major surgery or something, like, I don't understand what these guys have over women. It's like, have they never receive pleasure in their life, and then this one man gave them a little bit of pleasure, and they think that's the only place they can get it from or something, and they give them tons of money, but they wouldn't give that money to somebody else, that needed it. But they're like, this woman's story was so crazy and such a good example of, like, she had her life together. I guess a real estate agent. You know how I feel about realtors. Well, maybe you don't. It's not to say she's the smartest person in the world, but she's successful. She had a paid off house. It's like she had all of this going for her. Very beautiful woman too. She was seemed nice enough. Um, and I've seen it happen on the catfish. There's a catfish channel here on YouTube. There are women that work like amazing careers. There was this woman that like worked for our national defense, something like way high up there, and she got catfished. It's like somebody I watched said this. I think we probably all had those thoughts like, "Man, should I start acting like a man online?" I'm just playing, I'm not gonna do that. But, like, if there's women that are so Oh, it makes me kind of sad to say that. They're so desperate for a companionship that they gave he got $200,000 from one of her friend's husbands. And that's another thing it made me think of. It's like rich people just love to give other rich people money and they don't need it. And if those rich people were as apt to like just hand out $200,000, that would like change a family's life that like a working class family. And that just like you see that a lot. And like the show, they'll have like these fancy parties and they give like all these celebrities that are millionaires these really nice gifts that are like, like bags that have like thousands of dollars of shit in them. It's like, why do they get all that stuff for free though? Like they could buy it. And that really gets to me. I love my people, and that's what I wanted, no matter the toil involved. It's called commitment. Great law of liberty. That's nice. Are you talking about your family? Damn, where they doing that at? I need something like that paying me 100 bands. I am okay, I'm gonna go up a little bit more, but I'm not going up that much more. There's countries that are better. Yes. Um, that air conditioning thing. There's like a new refrigerant, coolant they're like transitioning to worldwide, and it's like worse, it's more flammable, it's worse for the environment than whatever we were using before. And they gave the rest of the world 15 years to switch, and they gave our country 15 months. Because, like, they seem to think that, like, everybody has money here, and it's I almost wonder if it's, like, part of the, like, depopulation. They know that when these people that are retirement age need a new air conditioner, they're the ones that are most prone to heat stroke, them and babies. Bill, how are you? Lydia, I disagree with you. I still believe this is the greatest country. We have so many people in this country who do not believe in our core principles. We can get back to core principles. Well, I'm thinking about, like, the taxation, like what we were just talking about. I honestly, Bill, I don't think our forefathers would think that we're the greatest country still, just with how we tax people. They're rolling in their graves. And, the money in politics, how Trump had the CEOs of all the big companies behind him, that's another thing I think. Um, these are desperate women you're talking about, Diamond said. Yeah, it is sad, and I know I sound super judgmental, but we're all just, like, talking here. It was a very interesting story, but I didn't watch all of it. It was, like, one of these, like, 25 parters, and every once in a while, there's a long, like, romance story that goes viral. There was this Risa Tisa lady a year or 2 ago, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. She ended up getting 1,000,000 followers in a weekend and has, like, deals with talent agencies or whatever now because she was just a really good storyteller. But and it was about a guy that like played her, but not so much in this way. He was just like living off her. He didn't borrow tons of money from her, I don't think. But it was different. And that's what I think a lot of people felt differently about this woman was like once you air out the fact that you have tens of thousands of dollars to throw around, it's like giving it to a guy you're not even married to, or like, if I was a scam lady, I'd definitely go after rich people. They don't need it. Right, Fendi. And I'm not saying for anybody to do that, but I'm doing good, Daniel. How are you? Jimmy asked what country is better. What would you say, Fendi? I know that every country has their issues, but just somebody I follow is living in Albania right now. I never even thought about Albania that much, honestly. And once again, I know every country has their issues, but they still have like bakers and butchers and fresh fruit, like all the little shop, like they don't have like, Walmart that sells everything. And everything seems so much more affordable, more homogenous countries, and I we're never gonna be homogenous. It's just a fact, whenever you hear of like the most successful school systems, the most happy people, and they always seem to come from homogenous countries, right? And it's like somebody's gonna take this wrong because somebody takes something wrong every time. I love being in a melting pot. I really do. I wouldn't want to be in a country where everybody looks like everybody else. I sincerely wouldn't. But when it is that way, it makes for more of, like, everybody following the same principles, like what Bill was saying, like, um, non-West countries, Fendi said. Complex or whatever your name is, I believe in aliens, but I just don't know what they are, you know what I mean? Like, they could be interdimensional beings, they could be who knows? Demons. I do believe somebody who is retired should not have to pay any tax, right, Bill? That would be nice. Their granddaddies built everything or invented everything is point is such a bad idea and kind of embarrassing point. Right, yes, pink marshmallow. I don't know if you started listening and you're like listening to the chat earlier and somebody said that, but it's just, see, I don't even have to say it. I can't say anything about men at all. I could be like, I was watching a basketball game and I saw this really funny trip and it made the whole crowd laugh. And there'd be some guy in the chat that's like, but men built the world. Like it's like the people with Trump derangement syndrome. You all are about women, like some people are about Trump, or you can't have a conversation with them without them. Like literally, I stub my toe so bad. Do you Trump's fault? Did you see that bad wreck on 65 the other day? Oh, yeah, Trump did something with the railroad up there, and, like, it's always Trump's fault. That's how you, see, I don't like saying you or you guys, you people, that's how the men that point the fingers at women, like, we're all a monolith. Women do nothing, right? We do nothing. Try being in labor. I've given birth naturally to an 8-pound baby. I guarantee you, if any of you felt the pain that I felt right before the transition part, you would never say anything about building things ever again to a woman. You'd just be like, that's their lot in life, you know? It's like, gladly, I'll build some stuff. Americans are rich in general. Of you are a little bit no, Americans aren't rich. That's what a lot of people think. I live in Kentucky where some of the poorest Americans are, and no, they're not. That's what, like, people think that there's a lot of money floating around here until you see how much everything costs. Nordic countries are the best. High happiness index. Yes, travel to the universe. I was thinking about Finland when I was talking about like um best outcomes with education, the happiest people. I have your DoorDash. Please come to the front door. I don't even think DoorDash delivers out here. How do you perceive the current political decisions? Positive or rather negative? Well, Daniel, um, I mean, I've seen some that are both, either way, but like a lot of the things that I don't agree with the Department of Education and their classification of degrees. How in the hell is chiropractic professional, the occupational therapy, physical therapy, nurse practitioners aren't professional anymore, but chiropractors are. And I love chiropractors. I do believe in chiropractic care. So I'm not saying it like I'm one of those people that doesn't believe in them. I do think that there are gentler ways to take care of subluxations of the spine. I don't go to a chiropractor. Oh, hey, Boston. How are you feeling? Um, guys were talking shit about me and said that I'm on here to stay out of your hair. And I said, actually, he had to work real hard tonight, so I'm leaving him alone. Oh, um, but but you know nothing about anything. Nathan Hazelhurst. I've said so much more than blank, vague statements like that. You know nothing about anything. And I got a book that you recommended, Nathan. See how some of these guys are? Like I praised you for a good book recommendation. I showed you the book. You're that Nathan, right? And you're sitting here insulting me. And it's like I don't know how many YouTubers, you know what I mean? Like how many men you would treat like this, like if they said something you didn't like. I don't expect everybody to like everything I say, but like, it's just so easy to, not pick on somebody your own size. And I think that a lot of that attitude I've talked about before, where people are like, women need to understand that men are sick of this. Oh, well, you need to go to sleep. I should probably get off of here. Guess what? They were examining the Titanic wreck and they found evidence that it was all Trump's fault that it sank. Well, Nathan, I was talking about a man walking in the woods. I didn't even think that it was that big of a deal. And it was other men. And if you can't see from like how ridiculous the misogyny is, you have blinders on because it's right in front of you in the chat. I literally can't say this guy was a little ridiculous and it was cool that guys checked in and like understand that women have to deal with so much walking through life. It's not a cakewalk. No, it's not. It's not a cakewalk to be treated like a piece of meat from the age of 11 years old while you're bleeding for a week, a month, sometimes longer. And I talk about all of that as openly as I do because like people need to know like I am glad to see it being more normalized, and all the men I know are cool about it. But people need to, and yeah, I do believe it. I'm gonna say everything that I can that I think Nathan will find offensive. If men had periods, the whole world would revolve around the fact that you bleed for a quarter of your adult life. Seriously, if men had periods, there would be like period stations outside of every male bathroom or in every male bathroom. You'd have like all sorts of free shit. You'd have way more help than Midol, a heating pad, and the pill. You would have so much more. You'd like have easier diagnosis. Doctors wouldn't like not believe you when you said you were in pain. I heard some of the most heartbreaking stories. Like this woman suffered, died when she was 44, and during her autopsy, they saw like she had endometriosis riddled all throughout her abdomen, and she had complained for years and years. And that can form adhesions. It can be deadly. Nobody talks about this. Did you know that a woman's ovary twisting can kill her? Nobody talks about that. I was afraid once that that was happening to me. I was in such bad pain and I went to an ER and they're like, "We don't deal with female issues, but we have issues that can kill us." Meanwhile, there's ERs that don't have ultrasounds. Make that make sense. Once it is a man's world. You crash test dummies are built as man bodies. We don't even have crash test dummies that are women's bodies. We don't even test medicine on women's bodies. And it's because of our hormones. And the guy that started gynecology, I was just watching a video of him today. He practiced vivisection on young teenage slaves, and they still do the same shit to us today. And somebody answer me if you know, do they give prostate biopsies with no pain management? I want to know when a man needs a prostate biopsy, if they just make him go cold turkey, nothing to numb any of the pain. I can't find the answer for that. Bill, thank you. And there's plenty of people that don't agree with everything I say, but understand that, everybody is welcome here. But it is a little like it's not anything I haven't heard before, but when you spend 20 years almost of your life doing something you consider to be significant, and then have people tell you like your life is a cakewalk. It's like, no, I'm talking for myself as well as like all the women before me, all the women that will go after me. Like nobody on my watch is going to tell a stay-at-home mom of a he's like I say severe, he's like moderately to he's pretty I think by most of your standard. I yeah, he's severe. um I don't think most men could deal no anesthesia. Did you Google that, honey? I swear I've Googled that. Oh, a guy at Walmart got one. Oh, gosh, I think you told me that before. Lucky Kentucky, I'm being honest when I state that you are creating an external locus of control that is always going to lead to less of an impetus to make direct changes that may greatly benefit you. Manta Shadow, I think that comment was beautifully written out, but I don't agree with you at all. N- I not trying to, control anybody's anything. Ben, I'm fine. Hello from Ghana. I'd like to get to know you if you don't. Oh, I have a husband, Salah. Oh, yeah, I remember. I'd forget who you're talking about, but I remember that happening now that you said I knew his daughter. Um, but yeah, okay, so men have to suffer too. It's bullshit what women have to go through. Diamond said she's married. My hubby is Boston George Ben. That's my husband. But yeah, okay. So I talked about the Campbell soup. I know I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys. I didn't have much to say, but I made my sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, and I had to put the green bean casserole up. It's still hot on the it was hot forever. Um Happy early Thanksgiving. TWC, how are you? Happy early Thanksgiving to you. Oh, it's going to be Thanksgiving in 7 minutes. Um, Cram, oh my gosh, Cram, I know most of you are normal, so I don't mean to, like, berate the normal ones, and that's what I was saying that's what I said, it was so nice to see, like, and these are people that curated their own compilations of TikTok reactions, I'm not on TikTok, but it was like half of the videos were men telling him, like, no woman owes him anything, and that was refreshing, and, if men checked other men and, like, if things just weren't allowed, like, okay, I'll get off of here by midnight, I promise. Helen Andrews, she told a story as she is sandwiched in between talking about how ridiculous HR is, which I know, like HR is only there for the company. Their protocols can be kind of ridiculous. Like nobody loves HR. But she tells a story about a man who jizzed on a woman's desk. And she was interviewing this woman. This happened decades ago and the woman's telling Helen Andrews, like, this was before HR. There was nothing I could do. I just had to deal with it. This is why there is HR, okay? It's not just because of whiny women. It's because of the dynamics between immature men that were never told to really grow up, that could always just, boys will be boys type situation, especially when they're all around each other and other boys. And that's what's so disappointing about women entering the workplace, men not being able to do stuff like that. But then I said this, and I don't think my husband would ever do that. I don't think a lot of you guys would ever feel like, going and jacking off on a woman's desk for the fun of it, just to put her in her place, to make sure she knows, I don't know, what does that say? That you're a fucking animal? That's why there is HR, and y'all need to, like, that's why, so many women just, like, look at you and look away, because so many men have done such ridiculous shit, because we've all had a man, like, say something to us, and then we look at him and he's, like, flashing us, you know? And that's, like, another, like but like I said, I'm the opposite. I make eye contact, like, somebody's walking down the street and, like, especially the closer you're coming into contact with them. Now there's times where, like, I don't make eye contact at all. I'm talking about where you feel like it might be a threatening situation or the person might be bad news. I don't avoid that. Hello, happy Thanksgiving, Diamond said to TWC. Yes, Partha, I don't have super highlighter. I don't even think I do look that bad. I had fake veneers put on my front top teeth. They came off. The dentist had grinded down. So I have like no enamel on my two front teeth, and they do look like a shade or two lighter. I had pictures to prove this where they chipped it first, and I was pregnant with our third baby. So I couldn't get any dental work done. I was unaware until they chipped that they weren't real ceramic veneers we had paid $1,500 a piece for. And but anyways, I got them because I was like I always had these beautiful big white teeth, and like when older I got, my autoimmune issues and stuff, and the dentist talked me into it. I wish I would have just they looked better before, and because I was being vain because of people that are like Diamond. I really yeah, it was just every single once again, it's like any man that thinks women are immature and we shouldn't be able to vote needs to like observe my chat and like do it a few times because you'll see the same behavior. The same, I'll just bring up a viral story that I thought was interesting as somebody, you guys see me in the woods a lot, and but like I said, I always say hi to people. I'm like a golden retriever. I'm like super nice and happy to see everybody I to contact with. And once somebody gives me a bad feeling, and see, and the trans things too. It's like it's the exact same insults. You guys are like becoming like feminine with your insults. It's the way that women try to tear other women down. And if you were a fully developed, well-rounded individual, especially a man, you would be like, "Oh, poor girl, she looks more like a man than a woman, poor thing." And you'd keep it moving, because you're like, "Oh, she's got a good small YouTube channel. I need to take her down a notch and tell her teeth are yellow. She looks like a man because she doesn't have a little Cindy Lou Who nose." But anyways, Miriam, you have a good Thanksgiving too. Thank you for staying in here. Dwiley, I don't have a uterus because I had a hysterectomy, not because I'm trans. Not that there's anything wrong with being a trans. The part that I did go back to the dentist and got a refund and had to a partial refund, I had to sign a thing. Sure, it said I couldn't sue him. He had bad cancer, so I don't think he's even with us anymore. He had thyroid cancer. And so I don't know if that was part of him like trying to like make extra money because he was in a bad situation health wise. Dentists have the highest SUICIDE rate of any kind of medical professional. It's sad, and I think it has to do maybe with the chemicals they're exposed to, especially the amalgam, the mercury. I had a tooth removed that had mercury. That was another thing that, I hate dentists. They have no lives and definitely no woman in their lives. Right, Boston. And then say the same shit, but then I feel bad because like I was saying earlier, like I know there's some people that are alone and it really isn't to any fault of their own. Just like there's women. There's women out there that they wanted nothing more than to be a wife and a mother and it didn't work out for them. Can you imagine what that must feel like for them when they hear people talk about cat ladies, like um hi Dean, how are you? Freak. Freak said, "Don't worry, my teeth are yellow too, but it's because I eat boogers." Oh, John Allen, how are you doing? I agree with you. We're good, just saying. Um, yeah, no more mercury fillings in New Zealand. Oh, Richard, is that a new thing, Richard? Good for New Zealand. Our FDA, I forget what year it was. It was like September of 2019. They wrote a letter that was like, we're not saying mercury is bad. We're just saying we don't think that children or women that might have children should get it. So I think that might be one reason why my 8-year-old is as severely autistic as he is because I had that silver. I did have IV chelation for 6 weeks, and then they were like, "Your levels are so bad, you need to have more." I didn't wanna get it hurt. I felt it in my bones, and I kept telling them, I feel like the IV, the chemicals, because you sit there for, like, hours with these chemicals going through your veins." I was like, it hurts," and they'd, like, turn it down, and I'm like, "It still hurts really bad," and they're like, "Oh, no, I don't think it does." And then when I looked it up, I'm like, "That's a horrible sign." IV chelation is illegal in the state of Kentucky because a nurse did the wrong dose and it was a child too. So sad. But anyways, um, your comment, I thought you were asking she doesn't have what I thought you meant uterus. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Psychiatrists are higher chance than dentists. Oh, COVID, thanks for saying that because that's not something I've read really recently. I thought that I heard that before, but you may be right. Did you guys know that nursing is the most dangerous profession? By, like, claims, like, it does make sense to me when you like, the things nurses have to deal with and, like, a lot of the people that they have to deal with, like, um, they get attacked a lot and, they get people bodily fluids thrown on them and stuff like that, and I thought it was construction work and logging. That's what I had always heard, right? Now I should have looked it up, but it was, like, somebody talking about the reclassification of degrees, and I was like, that does make sense because they're like moving people. It is a back-breaking work. It really is. Even what you put on your skin goes into your bloodstream. Yes, gray man. That is very important. Not a leftist, Krim. Everybody's welcome here, but I'm not a leftist either, Krim. Um, I consider myself very centrist. Have you ever eaten giraffe or anaconda? No, Charlie. I didn't know anybody ate giraffe. Is that true? We still fluoridate our water though in New Zealand, Richard. That's unfortunate. Um, yeah, don't get me started on that. I used to get fillings all the time as a child. Won't know more now though. Diamond, yeah, I can't bring myself. Have you seen me talk about the Bio Repair toothpaste? I can't bring myself to go to a dentist. Well, everybody, I wanted to stay on here till Thanksgiving. And I do apologize. Like I don't there's only 20 people in here now. Like I really like I think you guys know. I think you guys know, right? I know Boston knows and Bill knows, Mr. Carey knows. I don't hate all men. I don't think all men are lose. I do respect men that build things. I respect men that worked for any portion of their lives. Like I don't hate men, I don't even hate the people that come in here and say mean stuff to me. If you guys really understood, I seriously look at people is like when like I will snap back at them and stuff because I'm always thinking like what other people might feel like too. Like I'm not just saying this. I don't take it so personally like people think I do. Like my life is my life. Like this is like separate from like I don't go to bed thinking about what the chat said. But like I do take offense and defend for all women in my situation, and stay at home dad, but like yeah, women do go through a lot, right? Women go through periods, pregnancy and menopause. Yes, and, stop it, Boston. Um, we are one of 3 species that has menopause. Did you know that traveled to the universe? And it's like whales and, oh my gosh, elephants. It like really smart mammals have evolved to where the females only, aren't fertile the last quarter of their lives. And it's speculated that's like an evolutionary thing because older females are so important and they're so crucial to their family units and their communities. When you're getting together tomorrow, wherever you go, if you are blessed enough to still have a grandma and you're, oh my God, stop it. If you're blessed to have a matriarch in your family still, don't take that for granted. Like if you are going to some big family dinner, I'm guessing to say it was a woman that facilitated it. Not always. And like we have a man in our family who cooks a lot. And like when we went to their Thanksgiving, like it was the man cooking. So I know this isn't all the time, okay? But but yeah, one of three 3 species of animals, and so that's another thing. I want to be loud and proud about being a middle-aged woman, an aging woman. I think it's a blessing. I want to let everybody know how old I am and, like, be proud of that and help younger people because we didn't go through all this shit to not, like, help guide younger people, right? I started to ask, but figured he was being nasty about the curtain thing. And see, RMS, comments like that, that's why women go and get like, I shouldn't, there are women that go and get cosmetic surgery down there. So, because some men just like want us all to look like we're prepubescent or something. I don't know. But, anyways, um, yeah, it is very important. Shark contains mercury. Oh, yes, that's another thing, seafood. I like to get Wild Planet tuna. I can't always afford it, but like I don't buy tuna unless I can afford this case of Wild Planet tuna from that's just one of those foods I don't go to. Okay, we have bought tuna in the last few years. You know what I mean? But I don't like stock up on tuna because of the mercury. Anyways, I love you guys all so much. People think Kentucky is all about the fried chicken, travel to the universe. It's really so beautiful here. And if any of you are interested in caves, even if you just like to go camping, there's a lot of cool places to camp here in like bourbon country. If you know anybody that likes bourbon, I'm not interested, but it is so beautiful. Oh, I thought he was talking about Arby's, the food, but I had a feeling that's what he was talking about. Well, you all have a great Thanksgiving. I'm hoping I will be able to hop on here at some point tomorrow. I just don't know when. I love you guys. Love you, Fendi. Love you, Carrie. Love you, everybody. Love you, Diamond. Love you, TWC, Gray Man, Richard, Travel to the Universe. We say I love you around here. Love you, Ryan. Love you, Minnie. Booty Warrior. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. And thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving, Fendi. Bye, guys.